Jack McGowan is the CEO from Energy Control Incorporated. Jack, thank you for coming on to Conference Live.
You're welcome.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Very cool. So what is interesting here? Tell us a little bit about ESCO. What's going on here at the conference?
Well, I think there's a lot of exciting things here. Certainly we're seeing tons of technology. I'm primarily an energy person, but I'm also looking at services and how we deliver the energy solutions, and in particular how we create bundles of ways to sell both the product, the technology, and the service that enables it. So
yes.
ESCO 2.0 is the energy service business evolved from the idea that you could generate projects that would be bundles of services and bundles of technology, and ultimately that the energy savings would drive a value stream, a revenue proposition that allows you to finance that project over time.
Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, so initially that was lighting rebates, that was, or lighting retrofits, building automation, all the smart systems we see here, as well as, infrastructure, heating, air conditioning, so forth. The ESCO 2.0 piece is now we're looking at what other revenue streams can we bring in. Rebates from utilities, participation in demand response programs, selling capacity back to the electric system, all those things that allow you to take dollars that you normally would pay to a utility and turn those on their ear and allow them to create a revenue stream.
So give me an example of an exciting way that you've seen this in real life. What's a real world employment of this?
A couple of really good examples. One is we did about 50 Marriott hotels last year. Marriott entered into an agreement with a large utility, Constellation Energy, and Constellation said, if you'll allow us to utilize your properties to shed load when the grid is stressed, we'll finance a new building automation system in every Marriott in North America. That's in a service territory with demand response.
Okay.
So Marriott gets to upgrade the intelligence in their hotels, and the utilities pay them for doing that by also engaging them to shed load. So they turn off a fountain, they look at HVAC in the building and set back or set up temperatures, they take active steps a few times a year when there's a demand event.
Now, how did Energy Control, were you involved in the program?
So we're the glue, we're the company that puts the technology in place to web enable those buildings to respond to the event. So we're a service company that does integration.
Very cool.
Another great example, if you'll indulge me, is I'm working with a hospital in northern New Jersey.
Okay.
And after Superstorm Sandy, they were without power from the utility for 7 days, no electricity. They have on-site generation, they have Capstone microturbines, they have building automation in every building, they have meters at every building. Their usual demand for electricity is about 1,000 kilowatts every month, their peak demand. They have 250 kW generator capability, and using the smart building technology, they were able to keep that hospital operating for 7 days without power from the grid by utilizing the intelligence to shut off things they didn't need that weren't essential. And that's where the next generation comes. That's where smart grid becomes a real opportunity to make buildings better and to support the mission.
Talk about smart grid, where it's been, where it's come, and what it's going to be.
Well, it's one of those terms that caught a lot of buzz and has sort of gotten to a point where a lot of people aren't sure what it is. That's why I like to point to real examples. Demand response, what Marriott did with Constellation, utilizing on-site generation, metering buildings so that you actually can't manage what you can't measure. So if you don't know where you're consuming energy, you can't manage it. All those things are smart grid. The other things that are also part of smart grid are what happens behind the meter. So all the utility side of the equation. But at the end of the day, we've seen a decline in the use of electricity throughout the economic downturn. What we're seeing now is as we climb back out of the downturn, the demand for electricity is going up. And oh, by the way, everybody wants an electric car.
Right.
Everybody wants a flat screen in every room in their house,
right,
including the bathroom, and on and on and on. So Smart grid is really about how do we leverage technology to do the same thing with electricity that we've done with entertainment, with business, with education, with everything else that we utilize in our daily lives.
You seem so passionate about not just this technology, but the employment
No,
of
I don't care at all.
technology. Where does that passion come from?
Well, I started out in the energy business 30 years ago when we had the first energy bumps after the OPEC oil embargo. And what I saw very keenly was that we have a limited amount of resources available. And the more we really conserve those resources and use them effectively, the better it is. This is an incredible place to be. It's an incredible time to be in this industry and to be working with this technology, because there's tremendous wealth to be created. There's also tremendous value to be created.
That is the kind of business, that kind of enlightened capitalism that we love so much, where what we do in real estate technology is, yeah, there's money to be made, but we really are able to make it a positive impact, or at least lessen our impact on the environment. Any other last thoughts about where we should be keeping our attention and focus in the next couple of years?
Well, I think it's important to look at the big picture with regard to electricity. Certainly, shale gas is impacting what's happening with natural gas. My favorite quote from last year was the CEO of Exxon said that shale gas is the Viagra that's driving the resurgence of the North American energy market. One comment I might make is if the market lasts longer than 4 hours, he may have to see a stop. But the point is that gas is making it possible for buildings to truly become virtual power plants. On-site generation like that hospital in northern New Jersey, we're going to see more and more of that. Utilities that are both helping customers pay for the efficiency and even loaning them the money to do it through on-bill financing. We're seeing projects today where the utility pays 60% of the cost of the retrofit, and then they'll finance the rest of it for 3 or 4 years at 2%, 3% interest. That's free money. We heard that in general session this morning. There is a lot of opportunity there, and anybody who's not doing it is leaving money on the table.
That is the news from here at Realconn 2013. We're here at Conference Live. Jack McGowan, thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about what you do at Energy Controls. Passionate, interesting, and fascinating stuff.